Happy Saturday evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's me and Bashar back in the building on a Saturday. We're thinking maybe about doing this kind of permanently if we both can, make it to Saturday feeling good. It's a crapshoot who's gonna feel crappy. So, uh, but we're here. We're gonna talk a little Niners Bengals. A lot of Niners news that came out today regarding health and regarding maybe some trade deadline movements. So we're going to hit all that. I'm going to get his opinion on the Niners celebrating the two Bengal teams, the Super Bowl 16, Super Bowl 23 at the game on Sunday. Is it a bad omen? The last time we did something like that, we got blown up by the Chiefs. So we'll talk about all that and more. Everybody, thank you for making part of your Saturday and spending it with us. Thank you very, very much. How you doing, Bashar?
Doing good, man. Great to be on here. We were talking earlier if we could do this show today or not, and things worked out, so that's good. And we'll try our best to make this a regular thing. Worst case scenario, we may have to move it up or bounce it up an hour or bounce it down
Yeah.
an hour, either or. But great to see people in the chat already, and we're ready to get going. Hopefully, we get a W this week.
Yeah, this is an important week going into a bye week. Everybody who either joins this stream now or at the replay later, we could all agree that the last 2 weeks have left a really, really bad taste in 49er fans' mouth. I was as pissed off as could be. As you guys know, I went on 2 streams on Wednesday, and when I was on with Raj, I kind of lost my mind a little bit. So I'm trying I'm trying to mellow out and come back to reality. But yeah, that game just had me all sorts of pissed. Just a lot of stuff that happened during that game that culminated to me having a major spaz out all week. So um, Niners, Bengals, it's going to be a tough matchup. Let's talk about the news that dropped today. Purdy cleared concussion protocol and will start. It all looks like he will start on Sunday. I'll just ask you straight up. I made a TikTok today and I asked the question to the people on there and on YouTube, like, uh, how comfortable are you with this situation, or are you of the mindset that we should sit him going into the bye and take our chances with Darnold? How are you feeling about the Niners essentially clearing Purdy to play less than a week after sustaining a concussion?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's that thin line. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. The double-edged sword, as they say. I was telling Raj, and Raj is big on injuries, and he works in that field of sports medicine, and we were pretty much talking about concussions. And if you were going to play on the safe side, sure, the ideal thing would be to rest Purdy. We don't want to see what happened with Tua, but then again, if they clear him to play, they clear him to play. I raised the question though, if they clear him to play, are they going to still run him on some QB sneaks? I mean, it was kind of a fluky thing where that guy kind of ran in there and just spearheaded Purdy on that QB sneak, and it was a helmet to helmet. It wasn't even called, but hopefully Purdy's fine. It looks like he's going to play, which is cool. I'm excited to see the guy. A lot of us were not excited to see Sam Darnold take snaps from under center, so we're getting our wish, and I'm hoping Purdy just comes out all fired up, and it's the Purdy of old that we've been seeing for quite some time, minus these 2 games. So
Everybody needs a bounce back game this week, not just Purdy. Um, I don't know how much you can put on his late game interceptions with the concussion. I don't like to be one of those people that makes excuses, but getting your bell rung is kind of a big deal in the National Football League. Um, so there's that. I know a lot of people are, off the bandwagon already and saying, I oh my God, I watch people and they're still talking about Trey Lance, and it's literally been like 3 months, and uh, it's time to let it go. But yet some people just don't want to let it go.
we need to play that music on that song from Frozen. Maybe that guy will get through their ears.
Let it go, let it go. Yeah, you got to let it go, people. He's not playing for the 49ers.
That
Some
ship
people are
has
just stuck in that
sailed.
narrative, and they like to make it about more than just football. And it's just like it's just stop, let it go. I could tell that some people, the way they're tweeting, they like to sarcastically tweet that like Purdy was the reason for all the victories. But and then making cracks like but he's elite, knowing full well that they don't believe it. It's 49er fans are what they are. when it comes to the quarterback position. I saw something on your stream yesterday with Raj that I picked up, and me and Raj talked about it during the week. Is that another year with 49er injuries at the quarterback position? Man, it's like every single year, the 49ers have a problem at the quarterback position, and it's I would hate for this season to be derailed by it, especially if he gets hurt again, and then we are on we're playing Sam Darnold for multiple weeks because he's gotten his bell rung multiple times. Are you concerned that he's going to get rehurt in this game and possibly miss more time, or do you think the Niners will find out a way to keep him clean?
I hope they find a way to keep him clean. We need to get that running game going again. That will definitely help solve a lot of problems. It'll just give him a much better pocket on those play action type plays. I know Debo's not gonna be there. Does Trent Williams play? That's a huge question mark. That's just the biggest question mark in terms of what I'm thinking in terms of as much as Purdy is too. So we'll see where we go with this. Sure, I mean, like I mentioned before, like I mentioned to Raj, the QB sneak thing, maybe they're not going to do it as much. And we do have some capable running backs as well. So you can always run some short passes too. That doesn't necessarily have to be a QB sneak each and every time it's a short yardage. So hopefully they find ways to get the run game going. And Shanahan's a run first guy. So for whatever reason, the Cleveland game, he got pass happy at times. Even in the other game that we just played against the Vikings, at times I thought we could have ran a little more. Now the run wasn't working as much. The run worked pretty good in the Cleveland game actually, though, and we weren't using it for whatever reason. So kind of weird. So hopefully we just need to get back to that 49er run game. Many games, CMC was averaging about 5.5 per carry, and the past two games it was about like 3.5 per carry. So we just definitely need to step that up.
Yeah, the Niners run game needs to return. It's been an imbalanced offense the last couple of weeks. I can't help but think about the fact that, it's like another year and it's always the same. It's kind of the same cast of characters that are always hurt. Debo, Trent Williams, Kittle is always dealing with something. This isn't really a topic of mine. I'm kind of shooting from the cuff here. Are you kind of getting to the point with some of these players who are outstanding on the 49ers, but can never seem to get healthy or stay healthy for a season? Or do you ever get to the point in your mind where you're like, maybe the Niners need to start moving on from certain guys and maybe bring in someone who's a little cheaper or people, like it's getting to a point now where it's like, it's all the time, it's every season, multiple games. Trent Williams never, I don't even know the stat of him as far as making it through a season healthy. So it's always a concern. And with Debo, as much as he gives to the offenses when he's in there, it's such an annoying kind of series of events that seem to happen every single year. What are your thoughts on those players? Like maybe the Niners maybe moving on, or the Niners and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch just too stubborn to admit that it might be time to, separate with certain players.
Yeah, when they were putting out the tweets today about how Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch is going to be on the phone with all these teams to try to see if we can pick up a pass rusher, DN, defensive end, or a cornerback. One Niner fan responded was like, "Oh, well, we better trade Debo because he's always getting hurt and he's never on the field." And I don't want to necessarily trade Debo, but I can definitely see where certain fans may be coming from, and just that it's like, when's this guy ever going to be on the field? But he is such an asset to the team at the same time. I mean, he can turn those little 2-yard passes into 15-yard gains at the drop of a dime. He's a catalyst for this team, is what he is, man. He helps set up so many drives that we score on, and he was doing pretty well prior to getting hurt in terms of catching passes downfield and turning up the field and getting yak yards too. So I love Debo. I wouldn't really want to trade him, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, these guys just got to get healthy. I know it's a really, really long season. Sometimes we get lucky where certain players get banged up during the season, and we have a little tiny losing streak, and then we pick it back up and get our win streak again. Next thing you know, we get all our horses ready for the playoffs, and we're ready to go. So knock on wood, do whatever you got to do. Hopefully we do have everybody ready when it matters, and not sure what they're going to do in terms of trading people away or getting rid of people. I mean, if we trade somebody away for a player who's playing all 17 games, but he's mediocre, it's just like, does it have the same effect?
Right.
It's tough to say.
Real quick, for anybody who was a fan of the show Friends, I wasn't, but I know of the show. Actor Matthew Perry died tonight. very recently. Age 54, they're saying possible heart attack. He drowned in a hot tub, his hot tub, someone's hot tub. I'm not sure, but yeah, unfortunate news coming from the entertainment world. Matthew Perry dead, 54. Definitely thoughts and prayers for anybody who is close to him or knows him personally. Sucks. 54 is young. He had a lot of alcohol and drug issues, so you wonder if that contributed to his early death. But yeah, that's definitely crazy. Real quick, we got Jess in here from East Coast Red and Gold Podcast. Thank you for
What up,
coming through,
Jess?
Jess. Jay in the Bay or 49ers Throwback is
What's
in
up,
here. He's
throwback?
always in here. He promotes my channel. He promotes a lot of people's channels. So I just want to say thank you very much. And Jay in the Bay
Fernando.
making his presence felt in the chat. What is going
Jay
on,
in the
Jay? Hope you're
Bay.
doing good. Been a
What's
long time.
good?
One thing that I was talking to the bro about, everybody knows I have a brother and he's a Dolphins fan. The one thing that me and him get really stressed out about is that both of the Niners and the Dolphins run these really high complex offenses, right? Where like everything has to be on point. Everybody's got to be healthy. Players have to be in their set positions in order to run it, top tier, the way it's supposed to be run. And I told Jared, I said, sometimes I get stressed that the Niners are not like a normal everyday NFL team with a normal everyday drop back passing game. The Niners have all this smoke and mirrors, kind of like Miami, all this motion, all these things, all this eye candy going on in the field. And it's all predicated on everybody who you have in that offense and who you've scripted plays for being healthy. And even one player, especially with the Niners with Debo, one player going out throws the whole thing off. Do you ever get to the point where you sometimes were like, can we just have like a normal, passing game where we could just go back and throw, and we don't have to like worry about having this, and this all working, and this person running motions and jet sweeps and all this like, you know, extra added stuff that really doesn't contribute to the play because it gets to me sometimes, especially every year when we have certain guys go out, and I feel like it affects the offense in such a dramatic way. You ever let your mind go there?
I know they always say that Shanahan throws everybody off with all the motion and stuff like that, and he can make the same play look 5 or 6 different ways, all in regards to who goes in motion and where they go in motion. So I don't hate it too. I'm not going to say I hate it. I don't like it. But one more thing I want to mention though, we were talking about players on the Niners and they get hurt and stuff like that, and whether we should keep them, whether we should stay with them. So Donald Johnson, I see you, and Damian Lee, see you in here. I appreciate all you guys watching in the chat. Remember Raheem Mostert, right? So like,
Yeah.
he blew up in that playoff run for us, and then the start of the 2020 season, he blew up and had 2 huge, gigantic game-breaking touchdowns, and then after that, we never saw him again. And here he goes to Miami Dolphins, and now he's got all kinds of crazy touchdowns this season. He's balling out. And it's like, oh, now you want to be healthy. You were with us and you kept getting hurt the whole time. You couldn't even stay on the field for more than 2 games. So it's really frustrating, man. And it's like, and I was thinking, like, if we do get rid of certain players to get hurt all the time, watch them go to other teams and just ball out. What's up, Peter Parker? I see you, bro. Good to have you here.
Probably one of the better names on YouTube.
Yeah,
Hey,
he's
Peter Parker.
ran into him on Rogers chat a few shows ago.
Yeah.
So cool
Yeah.
guy.
Thanks for coming through, Damian Lee. Another long time to the channel. Appreciate it.
Damian Lee.
Donald Johnson. Hi, everyone. What's up, man? How you doing? Tommy Huxley, I kind of agree with you with this. I said without the motion, sometimes they're average offense. I hate to say, yeah, it's the Niners have to do a lot in order to get the defenses to get thrown off. Sometimes when it just goes to being a normal drop back passing team or running team, it's like they struggle. There's so much that goes into everything with Kyle Shanahan with this team. When it works and when it's working, it's a thing of beauty. When it's not, it's annoying as hell to watch games. It's just like, just throw the fucking ball or run it enough. It can be very taxing on the brain watching the 49ers sometimes. I wanted to talk about the defense before we talk about the free agent possible, trade deadline stuff. We never really talked. We haven't talked since the game. The Niners are going against probably one of the most prolific offenses when healthy in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals with the players that they have. What the hell is going on with their defense, man? What do you think the issue is with the Niners defense? Is it a overvaluing of guys like Clelin Ferrell and Drake Jackson? Um, is it the scheme? Are the players not buying into Steve Wilks? What does Bashar think the problem is with the Niners defense?
At times you watch the games, you don't know what to think, man. It's like we paid Bosa all this money, and I understand that he missed training camp, but what are we in week 6, week 7 now? Like, it's his body should be in football shape at this point in time, right?
Right.
Let's not kid ourselves. And you know what I was hearing about Bosa? I didn't sit there and watch all 22s of these past week's games like I should have. But what the consensus from what I hear is is what some opposing Niner fans are saying, basically. Not Niner fans, but opposing fans from other fan bases are saying, "Oh, we got Bosa figured out. All we have to do is chip Bosa, just give him a little chip block and he's done, or double team him and he's done." And when other teams do the same to Miles Garrett or TJ Watt, those guys seem to overcome all that. So Bosa has to figure it out. And he could mumble all he wants in the post game press conference and says, "Oh, we blitz too much and it's a 4-man front." Look, man, when I saw you in that 4-man front in most of the games, for the most part, I didn't see much pressure or any sacks. So, like a wise man once told me, get the stepping. So yeah, Bosa's got to get to the quarterback. Hargrave, he's not bad, but we need to see a little more. And Armstead, you're next to these big studs. You got to get something done. Who knows what Randy Gregory does, or Clelin Ferrell, or Drake Jackson. I mean, Randy Gregory looked good in that one first game, but I don't know. We need to. Who knows? Do we get another pass rusher? This defense. And there's times I do like Lenore, and the cornerbacks and defensive backs are pretty optimistic, and I do get interceptions, and I get that. I kind of wish Mooney Ward would have been a bit more cautious on that play. I get it. We all love the interception, and it seemed like he could have had 2 interceptions right there, but him knowing that we blitzed the whole damn team on that one play right before the half, was it to Addison on that long touchdown? He probably knew that there wasn't a safety behind him. Yet here he is jumping the route. I don't know. It's just there's something going on with this defense, and it looked better in the earlier previous weeks. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. And I don't know. I mean, I was talking about this with Raj. Like, you were complaining about Bosa in the press conference, kind of mumbling a little bit. Like,
oh, he's driving me insane.
Like, what are we going to see him be more profound? You know what I mean? Say things with his chest and possibly be a vocal. I mean, Purdy right away steps on the field, automatic vocal leader.
Christian McCaffrey after that game was pissed at himself.
Yeah, he was,
for the fumble. I just think, what the hell?
I saw that too. 1-800-555-321, and you can get a free turtle wax.
What the hell? Damn
That's from Twitch. It's from Twitch.
Oh, it is from Twitch.
Yeah,
Damn you,
Twitch.
Yeah. I can't.
Cool no V8. I can't read that thing.
Cool
innovative tip. Innovative tip or something.
Cool and innovative tip. All right.
Alrighty then.
Donald Johnson thinks that it's mental with the defense. I think it's a combination of a scheme they don't agree with. It's a combination of people being overpaid and being underproductive. Simple. It's funny. I had a stream with Raj on Wednesday, and me and Raj after the stream I was as fired up off stream talking about the stuff that pissed me off after we ended the stream. We were just like, we were crapping on everybody on the team and about how they're just not doing their job and how they can't, like you said, like Bosa's getting held. People say he's getting held. He's having this, but all these other elite defensive players have the same problems, and they seem to overcome.
They do.
Bosa
and all these other elite players get fat contracts, so they still ball out.
Yeah, Raj made a good point. He's like, when Bosa gets checked at the line of scrimmage, or like people like chip him and stuff, it's like his whole world is done. Like he can't can't come back from it. Yet you have guys like Myles Garrett and all these other players who get all the same attention, if not more, and find ways to impact games, blocking field goals, whatever. So I'm a lot of bit disappointed. We talk all off season about it being, Super Bowl or bust type of season. And, the players are talking about their mentality and about, they're over the Philly game and in this year and every game's a 1-game season. they say all the right things, but I don't see in the last 2 weeks. And people are like, oh, you guys are quitting on the 49ers because they've had a couple of, slow games or bad games. It's just, you could see this stuff coming in games that they were winning. I tweeted something and someone subtweeted me. I'm not going to say who they are because I'm not going to put them on blast. Um, Someone subtweeted me making a statement as if I'm complaining or picking at things about the 49ers and that I should just be happy with how well they're playing. And I think that's the lamest type of fan you can be, is to be completely like so oblivious to what's wrong. Like even in games that we were winning, I didn't think the pass rush was doing anything. The Dallas game, we got up, we were able to be aggressive. Dak Prescott is not that great of a quarterback. I hate to say it, and he threw us some easy picks. But at the end of the day, the Cleveland game and this past game with the why is there the Vikings, we got a little bit exposed, and I feel like it's going to be like this until either they get a hold of this defense that Wilkes is running, or we have to add some people via trade to help. I don't know, take the pressure off of Bosa. I thought we did that with Hargrave in the offseason, but apparently Bosa needs more help.
I know you wanted
it,
Ngakwe the whole time. I'd love to have had him too. You
me
know,
and Raj talked all off season, and any of you who watched my streams, who actually remember what the hell I say, and not just listen to me, moaning and groaning. I talked all off season since March, since the trade, not the trade market, but the free agency started, that the Niners really needed to do something in the free agent market and bring in an edge rusher. And everyone kept telling me that the 49ers are going to be just fine and that I need to believe in Drake Jackson and Clelin Ferrell, and that our defensive line coach will make everybody into all-stars. And it was all this talk. None of that's happened. So now we're at a position, Bash, where we're probably going to need to dip our toes into the trade deadline and possibly bringing, from what the reports are saying, not one, but two players on defense. Uh, there's a report out there that says the Niners might go after a corner and an edge rusher. Let's talk about that. Two players that are being mentioned right now are Chase Young and Montez Sweat. If you had a preference of who you want to bring in, who would be your guy? Or is it neither of them and you have someone else in mind?
I kind of like Montez Sweat better, just for the simple fact that he's more likely to stay on the field. I liked him coming out of the draft. I remember they said that he like ran one of the fastest 40s for an edge rusher, and he's a pretty good player. They're both really really nice. I'll take either or actually. Either one of those guys should boost our pass rush. So it's kind of like a take your pick. None of them now, for example, like Montez Sweat, he's never gotten 10 sacks. The closest he came was in 2020. He definitely piles on the QB hits. So last year he had 28 quarterback hits with 8 sacks. So I'm not sure. I don't see the list of his pressures or anything like that, but I can go pull up Chase Young as well. But sure, man. I mean, as they say, is you can never have enough pass rushers, right? A lot of 49er fans were dying for us to draft Patrick Surtain. I remember that as well. And we didn't draft him. And the 40, I mentioned this last night, like even in drafts where we've had higher picks, because we didn't have high picks the last draft, but in drafts that we've had higher picks, has this team ever focused and drafted a defensive back high? Like for us to draft Jair Brown with our first of 3 third-round picks was like a big deal. Like, oh wow, we actually drafted defensive back semi early, so to speak, but we never draft corners early. So bigger names like Patrick Surtain when they come out, we didn't get those guys. So now we may have a chance to get him. It's not going to be cheap. He's got to probably going to offer a pretty high price tag for him. And we inquired about him the same day that we got Randy Gregory in a trade from the Dolphins. So maybe I don't see us getting him because we asked about him the first time around, unless something may have happened and something may have changed perhaps. But I'm over here looking at Chase Young. Chase Young's the other guy. I believe he was a pretty high draft pick. He looks like a monster. He came from Ohio State just like Bosa, big and fast just like Bosa, and the most sacks he's ever had was his rookie year, 7.5. And, this year, actually, he's got 5 sacks, which is a pretty damn good start in 6 games played. And, so 5 games started, that is. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind Chase Young at all. I just hope he can stay on the field. He's had a history of injuries. And, somebody to help us out. I mean, I like Randy Gregory, but then again, we only saw him ball out in that one game. And you mentioned Drake Jackson. I mean, a lot of people lost faith in him after week 1. So
Me.
we supported him, but I'm just saying, like, we're not going to count on the guy because just for one game,
I
that's
know
pretty much all he did was ball out in one game.
Tommy Huxley is talking about Jalen Johnson
From the Bears,
cornerback
that's another one.
from the
That's another
Bears.
one.
Yeah,
We did inquire about him a few weeks ago. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on him or not, though.
I called for Yannick. I called for Justin Houston. I called for Frank Clark. I called for anybody who could rush the passer opposite Bosa, and yet the Niners went with we're gonna go with Drake Jackson. We have a lot of faith in him. He's had a really good offseason. Something that Tommy Huxley, no, it wasn't Tommy Huxley, is hey Peter Parker, this is, and I like you for this more than I like you more now. It says we hype up Devo's offseason training regimen and he constantly banged up. Same with Kittle, right? How many times do you see Kittle working out in the offseason with his wife and his father and his brother-in-law and all these other people, Trent Taylor, blah 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 blah.
Tight
And
end
yet,
university.
yeah, tight end, which is completely a waste of time. He should be resting his body and getting himself conditioned for training camp so that he doesn't hurt his groin like he does every year. It's just like the same guys with the same injuries. They work really, really hard. They train their bodies really, really hard, and yet they're always dinged. And so I don't know. I like the people that do stuff in silence and that you don't hear about it.
I don't follow the beliefs behind it, maybe, but maybe they. I don't know if it helps for injuries. I know they say this. I think it brings like positive energy within the workplace or something like that, or within your living space. Those feng shui experts where they have to have things positioned in a certain way, and it brings you positive energy. I don't know if it's involved with Buddhism or something. I don't know. They need something. I mean, year after year, we get these weird injuries that pop up. It sucks, and then the quarterback's always getting hurt. You can go down the line, every position. There's always somebody getting hurt. And I get it's the NFL; it's a ruthless, violent sport, but we need to do something with that.
The Sentinel says he's friends with the ops. I think he's referring to Kittle. I can't stand that. I am exactly the same. This whole like good guy being good guys with guys like Kelsey and whatever tight end you can.
Too much camaraderie.
I hate the camaraderie. Were we talking about this? The kiss on the forehead after the game that Kittle gave to freaking who's the quarterback that was here that sucked that everybody thought was good? Nick Mullins.
Oh.
The post-game kiss, and maybe it was you, maybe it was Raj.
I didn't talk about that. I didn't know about that.
Raj was pissed. He's like, "What is that? What are we doing? Why so happy?" I love that Christian McCaffrey after the game, that dude was asking for a jersey swap, and he was just like, "Nah, good, I want to swap jerseys with you, man. You just kicked our ass. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm good, thanks."
You should have did a jersey swap with Block Putty.
Yeah, you should have done a jersey swap with Block Putty. Oh God, we're going to hell.
Hey, hang on. He wants the attention, so here we go. This one's for you, Tommy Huxley. It's been a while since I've done that. So he said Drake Jackson sucks. It's been a while since I said your name like that, but hey, you said you wanted me to say something. Mention your
Tommy
name.
Huxley. I agree with you. He does suck.
hey, his team USC though, they were getting spanked by UC Berkeley today. I think UC Berkeley had about 40 some odd points on them, and looked like USC was getting smashed and they're getting blown out. And out of nowhere, USC ended up coming back and winning 50-49. So that was pretty crazy. And Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice, is a wide receiver on USC. He had 2 catches for 33 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm hoping we can get Brendan Rice some way in the draft. That'd be really nice. He has his moments where he's pretty good. Problem is USC is very stacked at wide receiver, and just in general, there's a very stacked team to get all the high recruits. So he'd be a sleeper type player. He wouldn't be a first rounder.
The illustrious Laura Cat in the chat. She says, "Hello, Aaron and Niner fam. Great to see you guys tonight. Thank you. My Niner friend. I was going to say my brother from another mother, but you're a woman, so that doesn't really hold any water." Oh God. One of the things that people are talking about is the move possibly for Surtain. Depending on who you talk to, I was looking at Sterling Bennett. Sterling Bennett says there is no way that they are not going to part with him. He's like a foundational piece. And then there's other people saying that the Broncos would listen, and they'll listen to anybody. I'm going to go with my guy Sterling on that one. I just think you would have to sell too much of the farm for a guy like him. Wouldn't you say so?
You're saying for who? Who are you talking about?
Sertan.
Oh yeah, they like I mentioned earlier, it'd be a high price tag. Easily a first rounder, if not two first rounders, and maybe a first and a second.
Yeah, you'd have to keep
Yeah.
him. You can't rent a player like that and give up all that. You know what I mean?
And you
Like
know
that.
what?
That would,
Montez Sweat and Chase Young are both on 1 year contracts. So we literally have to rent these guys for 1 year too. I hate 1 year rental players. Seriously, I do. If we trade for somebody, I'd rather have them locked in
right.
on a certain contract, not
Well, think
necessarily.
about this. Trent Williams, and he says he's going to play a couple more years or whatever. I'm starting to think he's going to be done after this year. I mean, like the Niners technically could have a couple of expiring contracts and move on from him after this year. I don't know. I would love to see the 49ers make a move at the trade deadline, but at the same time, I'm of the mindset that draft picks are great if you hit, but they're also good at trading for players that have already established themselves. So, I mean, where are the Niners drafting in the draft usually, Bash? Back end of the first round. If that's the case, it's better to just go get a
Yeah.
player that's already proven and move.
Yeah, I've been ranting the past week or so because Debo's been out. Are we using Ronnie Bell? Why aren't we using Ronnie Bell? Why isn't
Right.
he on the field? It's I know he's not a veteran, but he's a 4 year college player. His dad's a wide receiver coach in college. He's got his fundamentals down. I don't know why Shanahan just thinks that, oh, I'll only play veterans and I won't play the rookie, or I won't do this or I won't do that. It's like, if you're gonna be that complacent with rookies, and we draft these guys to help us supposedly get over the hump, right? We have this short little Super Bowl window. So why aren't we using some of these guys who have upside or who look good? But we're not. We don't trust these players. Okay, you know what? If that's the case, with all these 12 picks that we have coming up, botch about eight of those picks on trades. Just
Yeah.
get rid of those picks. Trade for proven players, proven commodities, and let's make a run for the Super Bowl, because we obviously don't play these rookies. No matter when we draft them, we wait like 4 years to play these guys. It's so annoying, dude.
The Sentinel, he's not mincing words. He says Shanny is so. I think he meant to say so effing stupid.
Effing stupid.
He says we have fresh, healthy, talented rookies, and Shanny won't play them. Yeah, he's got this weird anti-rookie doghouse trash. And then what ends up happening, right, Bash? They play good down the line, and you're like, man, if we just would have played them earlier, is always the thing that we say. And it's like, yeah, well, Shanahan didn't want to do it. So Shanahan's all about the guys who he knows he can trust, and he doesn't know if he can trust Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell did have a couple of instances in the preseason where passes bounced off his hands and were intercepted, so that might be part of it. Same thing with Ty Davis Price in the preseason. He had issues blocking for the quarterback. People are like, whoa, I never see Ty Davis Price in there. Well, if you can't block and the quarterback gets killed when you're in there, there's a good chance you're probably not going to see the field. So in some ways, I agree with Shanahan, but when it's to the detriment of the team and we are trying to continue or trying to contend for a championship, then it does bother me. And of course, my internet is going to start glitching on me, right?
Yeah, I was going to add something to what you're saying, but it slipped my mind. Sorry.
What was I going to say? So we have Cincinnati coming up, and I guess my question to you is, do we have a legitimate shot at being in the Bengals before we go into the bye week? I mean, what kind of effort, what kind of game do we need to play in order to beat a team like the Bengals?
I'll touch on that in just a second. I remember what I was going to say, because you were talking about the running TDP.
Yep.
And I'll mention Ronnie Bell earlier. Everybody loves to mention Jordan Mason, right? Especially the Cleveland game. CMC goes down. You think like the no-brainer is to use Jordan Mason. And on one of the drives, we were really close to the end zone, and we gave him the ball right away. Boom, he scores a touchdown, right? Jordan Mason had 5 carries for 5 carries in that Cleveland game, average 5.3 a carry. And that was it. He never got more than 5 carries. And it's one of those weird things where Kyle doesn't trust enough players. You're saying he doesn't trust TDP. I feel like he doesn't trust Jordan Mason. I feel like he barely trusts Elijah Mitchell. if there was a running back out there that would be available in the trade block for cheap, wouldn't surprise me if they went that route to get another guy that they could trust. I keep mentioning these things because we're getting closer to the trade deadline. Eventually, we'll find out what we do. We're almost there, so who knows if we make a move? They said they're trying to make moves, but we'll see. But as far as Cincinnati, yeah, sure. I mean, Burrow's been underperforming this year. The Cincinnati offense isn't the explosive offense this year so far. I mean, they've only put up 16.7 points per game. Burrow, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 79 point QB, point 8 QB rating. That's not an impressive QB rating. I know he's had I believe it's an ankle, not a cat. What kind of injury? Was it an ankle injury or a calf injury? Calf injury.
Yeah.
There you go. So Jamar Chase is the beast. T. Higgins is really good as a wide receiver that plays next to him. They got another guy whose name escapes my mind. Tyler Higbee.
Tyler Higbee, yep.
Higbee, okay. The tight end. Yeah, I mean, those guys are all really good players. And even though they haven't really been looking too hot, it's like I don't want the 49ers to take them lightly either, though, because it's like we think like, oh well, we're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and Kirk Cousins doesn't play good in these Monday night games, and they don't have Jefferson, and then Cousins goes out there and plays. I guess he played ultra expired because he used to play for Shanahan, and everybody always tries to link Kyle Shanahan with Cousins, and Cousins just shredded us. He torched us. So I think we definitely have a shot to win. But then again, I don't want our team to take them lightly just because Burrow and the Bengals
how can the Niners afford to take anybody lightly after the last 2 weeks? I wanted to get you. This kind of connects with the defense playing as bad as. What did you make of Steve Wilks having to address midweek what happened on Sunday? Kyle was not happy. Kyle did say something along that they would address it and talk about it or something. It was, I forget exactly how the press conference went, but he freaking talked about it midweek, and he pretty much took onage for the mistake. And then if you look at our guy Ryan Hensley, he had a stream that talked about maybe that the Niners players don't really trust Steve Wilks. So there's a little bit of a story behind the scenes, or maybe there's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just a source who's trying to get established or whatever. But what was your thoughts on that? Like Wilks having to address it, and then the vibe coming out of the Niner land that maybe there's a situation brewing with the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, let me address this what Tommy said though. I mean, we lost. Okay, PJ Walker was a starting quarterback. I get that, and it was pathetic that we lost that game. But I wouldn't go as far as say PJ Walker torched us.
I don't think he torched us. Tommy.
0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
He had a couple big throws. One of them, our cornerback fell down.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. I think the running game torched us in that game. We gave up 100 yards rushing. So if you want to say who got torched, I mean, Dre Greenlaw misses one game, and it's like we don't know how to stop the run.
Yeah, that sucks.
Either way, Tommy, you're right. We shouldn't have lost to the Browns. That was a bad loss.
I went off track right there. Remind me what we were supposed to talk about.
Just the Steve Wilks situation. Him having to address his mistakes midweek, and then the fact that there's noise coming out of Ninerland that he might have issues with the players.
That was Ryan Hensley has some source of some sort that the players aren't happy in the locker room, and there's a little disarray. I hope whatever he's talking about, I hope it's short-lived. I hope this defense finds a way to turn things back around. It's not like the defense was terrible in the games that we won. Defense was still pretty good. We weren't getting the big sack numbers, but in general, I know they can do it. We have the talent, we have the experience to do it. Wilks, Shanahan is weird though. It was weird to see Shanahan throw him under the bus like that. I wasn't used to that.
It was.
Hopefully
Shanahan's been better this year though, Bash. He's been taking a lot of credit for bad stuff. How many times in the past did we say that Kyle needs to take accountability? This year he's been a little bit better, but you're right. He threw Wilks under the bus. I think that's I don't know. I've gotten this vibe that Wilks and this team are just not a good mix. I mean, Bosa's comments after the game about, we're usually a front four rushing, non-blitzing team. And then he was kind of like not incredulous, but he was just like, he didn't know what to say. It wasn't a good look. But Bosa, to me, that's just making excuses. You need to play better. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, with Wilks, I mean, some people were like, oh, I thought he's supposed to be the secondary guru and defensive back guru. And here goes Here goes Cousins throwing 385 yards on us. So somewhere or another, they got to fix it. Yeah, like I mentioned, Shanahan actually, the fact that we've changed all these different coordinators and the defense has still been pretty good. It's all about freaking Shanahan, and he's had his fingerprints on this defense. People say that, oh, he's only an offensive guy, and that's all Shanahan does is be a good play caller. And he's only an offensive coordinator. Like, no, he helped write the structure and formulate the structure for the defense that we've been putting together for this 49er team way back to when we had Robert Saleh initially. So he just needs to find a way to sit down with Wilkes. And I don't recall us blitzing that many people in the other games and having it not work. They got to tone down the blitzing. If you're going to blitz one extra guy or blitz two extra guys tops, leave it at that. Definitely don't do it right before the half where they're going to be gunning for a touchdown. Cousins has a strong arm. He's a strong arm quarterback. He's going to throw the ball out there. And when we play other teams with strong arm quarterbacks, we got to watch out for that too. And we've been pretty good at that, and stopping those plays as long as we have the proper defense set up for that. If Gibson's back there or Hufanga's back there, we can do it.
452 yards to the Vikings without Justin Jefferson. That's unacceptable. How much has your vibe changed for this team since the second loss? How high were you riding? Were you thinking Super Bowl or bust? We're going to get it this year. Bring on the Chiefs, or were you a little bit more guarded and aren't surprised that they've dropped a couple? I fed into the hype. I was one of the people, and it's funny. I never let my mind go there. I have a couple streams with Rob Shue. I'm talking to Rob about trying to be more positive with the Niners and not look at things in a negative light. I completely go that route. I let my mind go there. I start getting heaping a ton of praise on everybody, Brock Purdy, Kyle, this person, that person. And then they come out against the Browns and the Vikings and completely burst my bubble. So I don't want to go back to being extremely negative, but I think my outlook on how good this team is and how far they can go has definitely changed. I think my brother with Miami, he went from thinking Miami and us were going to be in the Super Bowl together to he's like, I don't even think there's he's like, it's not going to happen or whatever. What is your thoughts? I mean, how much is your mind changed?
Miami's ain't going to the Super Bowl. Miami peaks way too early. That's what they always do. Obviously people were saying we were the best team in the NFL when we were coming off the Cowboys game, and I get that. A lot of us were drinking the Kool-Aid in that game. It's a very, very long season, 17-game season, so I'll pump the brakes a bit. Hey, we got humbled those two games, right? Sit down, be humble, or be humble, sit down, however you want to put it.
Or get to stepping.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I'm so faithful to the Bay. All right, so exactly. Shout out to Wayne Breezy and Travis King. But yeah, I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, we got you're only as good as your last game, right? I don't want to keep saying Super Bowl for this team. We're the best team in the NFL if we're off a damn 2-game losing streak. So if we win, I'm not gonna go crazy about it. I'm not gonna hype the team up super about it, but I'll definitely be happy that we got a win. So we just got to take things slow. We got a bye week coming up. We got to rest up players. We do got players that are hurt, obviously, and we'll go from there. We'll take it from there. Who knows if we add another player again? We keep talking about this whole trade deadline. There's rumors again that John Lynch is on the phone trying to get on the horn and make things happen. Do we seal the deal? Do we get Surtain? Do we get another pass rusher? Do we get another running back to help out CMC? Who knows? Who knows what happens between them?
Did the Niners make a move for Brian Burns? How about that one?
I know I'd love to get these guys, but they're really expensive. It'd be expensive to get them. We'd have to give up a lot of picks. So who knows? But hey, at the end of the day, if that's what it takes to put us over the hump for the Super Bowl, I'm for it.
CJ Gray, you're kind of where I am right now. It's like, are we even going to win the division? The Super Bowl is not even in the Super Bowl. I'm not even thinking about the Super Bowl right now. Not after the last 2 weeks. I definitely have a different perception on the Niners right now. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. One thing that's going on this coming weekend for all of you who do not know is that this game, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, they're celebrating Super Bowl 23 and Super Bowl 16, 49ers Super Bowl teams, both that beat the Bengals on Bengals week, no less. I'm going to ask this to Bash because we did this with Kansas City. I forgot what they were celebrating, and Kansas City whooped our ass in that game.
Or they celebrated
How
the '94 Super Bowl team or something like that.
something, and then we just got Kansas City just dog walked us. What's your thoughts? Because I mean, you were an '80s kid, a little bit more than me. Those Super Bowl teams for us who actually witnessed it and just don't pretend that we know Niner stuff. Uh, what's your take? How much do you actually give a damn about the Super Bowl 16 and 23 team
Mm.
celebration? I guess Eddie D's going to be there. So I don't know. A lot of these players were born way after the fact, and I don't think a lot of them care, to be honest with you, as much as we do as fans. What's your thoughts on that?
I'll tell you this: I cared about it when the games were being played, and we won the actual Super Bowls. I don't care about it being celebrated now. I mean, we're in 2023, and we got to worry with this damn ball game. So again, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm not saying I hate it or anything like that, but it's not something I look forward to or anything like that. And at the end of the day, they don't really show those things during the broadcast, anyways. So
No, it
yeah.
the Niners website, and I'm sure like NBC Bay Area would probably be big on it. I'm sure you'll see some stuff during the pregame. They might do a flash to the field, and they'll show geriatric Joe Montana and everybody.
When you
Joe's
say
probably going to be out there.
geriatric,
He's so geriatric.
I thought you were gonna say Jerry Rice, and you ended up saying
Jerry
geriatric.
Rice will be there. Yeah, it's funny. Jerry Rice, Steve Young. You can say whatever you want about Steve Young. I was not a Steve Young guy growing up, but Steve Young is very what's the word I'm looking for? He's out there. He's interacting with the
Very hands
faithful.
on.
Yeah. Then you got Joe, who I was my favorite player growing up. The only time Joe Montana shows up is if you're paying him and if he can promote something. That sucks. Like, how did he become like that? What happened? You know what I mean? And then there's Jerry Rice. You don't even have to pay him to come to games. He just shows up, stands near the end zone, flashes his bling. Me and my brother always say, you know what? He's the GOAT, so he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's the greatest of all time. To me, he's the greatest football player that's ever played. That's my perspective and my opinion. I'm not saying it's truth. So to me, Jerry Rice could do whatever he wants. I think Montana has that same air to him, but Montana could care less if he's not being paid. So that's kind of lame, but it is what it is. CJ Gray says Burns would be a rental like Von Miller. Yeah, I would stay away from Burns, CJ Gray. It's if you're going to blow your stack for a guy only for, 7 or not 7, like 11 games or something, it's not worth it.
But remember, I mentioned Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Both of those guys are going to be rentals too.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like one of them could stay. I feel like Montez Sweat could be somebody. I feel like Chase Young has more of the name value and might still go and cost a lot. Um, but you don't think someone like Montez Sweat can be kept?
I mean, they could probably be kept. I'm just saying we'd have to pay them a new contract. Their contracts are
Right.
both up. That's all.
Fired Up 49ers is in here. What's going on, man? I haven't saw you all day till
That's my
now,
boy
but
Kenny.
thanks for coming through.
Kenny?
David McNiner, Steve Young attends games. I have after game. I know you do. You guys, friggin' David McNiner, Brian Culp, Ty Alston, Jess from East Coast Red and Gold podcast. You guys, even Bash meets people too. If I come out to the West Coast, all y'all better be around, okay? Because I want to meet some celebrity 49ers.
The one player that was on my list for a long, long time was Jerry Rice, and I still haven't met him. Maybe one day, who knows?
I had a chance to meet Joe Montana twice. He did a radio press club dinner here where I live up in Rochester, New York. He came here in 2001 or 2002. And then he came here a couple of years ago, and both times I didn't go see him. First time I wanted to go, but I just couldn't afford it. The second time I'm like, what does it matter? I'm like old now. It didn't have the same appeal, and plus he's only, he's signing something, not even
Was
looking
it
at
free?
it. No, you had to pay.
Oh, okay.
Joe Montana ain't gonna do nothing for free, man. That's not how he rolls.
Just ask him.
You guys.
How far was it from you?
Downtown.
Okay, you should have went, man.
30 minutes, 20 minutes.
I mean, you probably would have stayed in line for a good 2 hours, but
oh yeah. I would have had to bend over because he's all crooked now and been like, "Come on, Joe, you can do it." Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think my body's in worse shape than Montana is right now with the way I'm going. But yeah, it'll be
Wanna
interesting.
try
Yeah, I
it
don't.
again?
What's that?
You know what I was doing. I think I'll do it.
Okay, yeah, we can't do
I'll
that on
type it
stream.
to you.
Um, let's talk predictions for the game. We have to make them good or bad, negative or positive. So I'll go with you first, and then and then we'll go, and then I'll go mine, and then we'll get out of here.
Hey, you try to kick me out, huh? It's all good. No, no. So hey, time flies, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, though. You guys are awesome. See Laura here, see Dave McKnight here, Tommy Huxley, Raphael, all you guys, Jimmy Perez, CJ Gray. You guys have been awesome, very active. Predictions, predictions, predictions. So I'm gonna stick with my same predictions I did last night. I gotta be consistent. Can't change them up unless something drastic happens between then and now. But I still don't know if Trey Williams is playing, but I'm just on a hunch. I'm gonna assume he's playing, and I said 30-20. Some people disagree with me, and they hop in the chat and they gave up. They put up a lot of predictions that were a lot closer, but that's fine. You guys can have your predictions, and I have mine. I still have my bold prediction though. I want the pass rush to get back on track. This is kind of some wishful thinking here, and I'm just trying to be proactive with it. But at the same
I was
time,
about to say, I'm the king of wishful thinking.
things that.
uh, I forget.
Oh,
I'm the
okay,
king of
okay.
wishful thinking.
I might be in
That
this
song,
case
I'll get
because
over you. I know I will. Oh, I don't know. It's
we're
old.
gonna find out in a second. All right. So, but anyway, so I was saying that I expect 3 sacks, one from Bosa, one from Hargrave, one from Randy Gregory. Hopefully it happens. I still want to see Talanoa Hufanga get his pick 6. Hopefully this is the game that happens. And that song that you were speaking of was by, I do remember the group name, was by a group called Go West. I remember them. I just don't necessarily remember the song. Maybe it's one of those songs if I click on and listen to it that'll spark a memory in my brain. But the 80s had so many one-hit wonders, and 80s were fun, man. They're a great time for music, so you gotta love it.
Great song. Oh, thank you very much.
Bebop likes it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Bebop Jones fired up says after these 2 weeks, I have no clue what prediction to make. I'm
Exactly.
kind of
I've
in the
been wrong on so
same
many predictions.
place. I'm kind of in this same place right now. I'm gonna say the Niners will have a bounce back game, but as far as a score, I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna have to be a high scoring game. I'm gonna go 49ers 34, Bengals 28, and the Niners score late. It's going to look like we're about to drop 3 straight, and then I don't know. It's tough, man. It's after these last couple weeks, it's been really hard to get myself in a positive mindset. Um, you guys said the field was squishy. That's kind of a weird name for a field. I heard it smelled like fresh cut grass, which is like one of my favorite smells. That's what I love about the East Coast on like the late mid to late spring before summertime when you're cutting the grass all the time. It's a great smell. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I
We
just
got
like I
a
said, we better do all those things and more if I ever make it out to the West Coast. I expect everybody to be on their game. Um, and I expect to be hosted and wined and dined. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, one of these days I'm gonna make it out there.
I'll make some pizza. So I listened to that Go West song. I don't recall ever hearing this, but
You never heard that song? I'll
total
get over
typical.
you.
No, no,
I
total
know I
typical
will.
cheesy 80s song. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was like I used to like. I didn't. I didn't even have like a girlfriend early in my life, but I always listened to like these like super like emo kind of like feel sorry for me songs. Like I'll never. You know what I mean? But the song I couldn't even relate to the song, but like I guess it like in my head I I related to it. So I was always into like these weird like sappy ass completely like emo songs that if they came out nowadays, people would be like, "Oh, we better go check on him."
For me, it's whatever song had a catchy beat and a catchy melody, and I'd worry about the lyrics later. That's how it was.
Yeah.
There's a pretty cool name in the chat actually. I caught my eye. I don't know why he's talking about his jeans though. Does Wemby wear size 30 72 jeans? That pretty weird. Okay, that's okay.
Oh,
His
so he's
waist
got
is
his
30
waist
and his
30,
and his
length
length is
72.
72. He's
I'm
talking
a
about Victor Wembanyama, the seven
the
foot
big
five,
old tall guy.
7'5" rookie for the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah, my waist. I'm not going to tell you what my waist is, but my inseam's a 30. Dude,
Uh,
my inseam's a 34. His is a
You're
72.
not gonna sing that
Whoa.
tire. You're not gonna sing that tire belly riff.
No, I got a tire belly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I have
Inside
more of
joke.
a. I have more of a barrel gut than a. People can't tell that I'm heavy until I stand up, and they're like, "Oh, okay." I'm only
Uh,
290, so.
so we
Springtime
got
Motion
laundry.
says
There you go.
49ers 30, Bengals 30. Let's go.
Well,
Can't
we're gonna
rely on Moody for
tie.
the win.
A lot of people in the chat were saying they think Moody's gonna kick the game winning field goal. I'm like, please God, do not let it get down to the wire where we got to rely on Moody. Now Moody
Yeah,
did
and then
make a
you're going
nice
to interview
55.
him after, and he's just going to be like, "Well,
He made a nice 55 yarder. I mean, I get it, but I don't want the game to rely on his shoulders and yeah, so
yeah,
I'm
he's
cool with
emotional.
that.
I don't. Something's wrong with that kid. He's something ain't firing upstairs with that guy.
We need to have Brian Kolb give him a pet talk. I think we gotta do that. Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
gotta do.
get Brian Culp. Brian, you need to if you're around, you got to go give Nick Boot. Did you see Brian Culp? Did he? I think he had a he had a number 14 jersey. I think he went and bought himself a Sam Darnold jersey.
Did Brian Kolb wear a 14 jersey? Wow.
David McNiner, if you're still in the chat, did
Oh, go ahead.
does Brian Culp have a number 14 jersey? And if he does, who is it?
Interesting tidbit. So when we were at the game, Brian Kolb was sitting behind me when Sam Darnold stepped in the game. Brian Kolb out of nowhere was like, "This is so lame," but funny at the same time. He was like, "Sam area" or something.
He messaged me on Facebook with the exact same thing. He's like, Sam area. Just thinking of Greg Papa with his absolutely, it's like fingers on a chalkboard voice. Him and then who's the other? Who's the
Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan.
Oh, he's even worse. I have
I
a
love
really
it
deep
when you
voice.
call me Greg Papa.
I have a really deep voice. My name is and I do the all the ads that are during the game. And
Tim
I have a really
Ryan.
deep voice. And I'm Tim Ryan. I didn't play for the 49ers, but I act like I give a damn. I'm big and tall and tough. And I like to try to kick it to the players during the state of the franchise. And all the players like look at him like, get the hell out of here, dude.
Look at the way he batted down that pass. Chris Kocurek teaches these guys well on that front line. It's just kind of like that.
Yeah, he's just lame.
Yeah. I was going to add something else to what I was talking about. I was just sucks. I was going to bring it up. What was I mentioning before Greg Papa?
We were talking about, I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know. I was going to add something to the mix, and it sucks that I don't remember now.
Bebop's like, I've never seen Moody smile even after he made it. Yeah, what's up with that? Something's misfiring. Oh, wait. Brian has Mitch Wignowski's number 14 practice jersey from his rookie season. Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out who the hell that was.
Yeah, the Mitch Wignowski jersey. I remember what I was going to say now. It was about, okay, so it ties into the Sam area thing. And then you brought up Greg Pop, and that's where I got thrown off. It's all good. So Sam area was playing. Sam Darnold was playing late in the Giants game, and the Giants had Tyrod Taylor in the game. So actually, Tyrod Taylor won a game for the Giants. I forgot who they beat, but I'll go ahead and look it up. New York Giants last game. Tyrod Taylor has been a journeyman quarterback. I actually wanted him on the 49ers.
Yeah, when
I thought they were gonna make Lance the pure quarterback, the pure starting quarterback, and ship off Jimmy. I was like, bring a guy like Tyrod Taylor. So the Giants, they beat the Commanders, and Tyrod Taylor was out of the how many damn years the New York Giants franchise has been around? How many quarterbacks?
Out of the clear blue sky.
He was the first black quarterback to win a game for the New York Giants. So 279 yards,
crazy.
2 touchdowns. And New York Giants have been around forever. So the New York Football Giants, that is.
We got to pull for the Eagles this week, guys, because they said that the Commanders' moves will be predicated on whether they beat the Eagles or not. So if we're thinking we're going to go after, say, Montez Sweat or Chase Young, we got to pull for the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow, unfortunately. So there's that.
The Giants have been around for 80 years. So in 80 years, they finally had a black quarterback win a game. So
That's crazy.
interesting stat.
80 years.
Mm-hmm. I've always liked Tyrod Taylor too. I thought he was a decent quarterback. And they do play the Commanders. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the West Coast and 1 p.m. on the East Coast.
Niners play at what, 4 o'clock tomorrow Eastern?
Yeah. Well, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, that's going to be a stressful.
Stadium.
That's going to be a stressful game to watch. Stressful game to watch for sure. Anything else you got going on in your channel that you want to promote real quick?
You know all the stuff about Moody. You know what it reminds me of? And the sad thing is that we actually won a Super Bowl with this kicker. Remember Doug Bryan that we had his rookie year in the '94 season, and then like the '95 season comes around, he misses a field goal against the Detroit Lions, and Harris Barton starts talking shit about him to the media after the game is over, just because he missed what could have been the game-winning field goal. And then after, soon after, Doug Bryan was just released from the team. I felt bad, but he ended up playing for the Saints. I'm not sure how much longer he played, and I remember Doug Bryan at Cal.
That
He used
whole
to play
situation.
What's that?
Harris Barton was talking trash about him?
Yeah, after the game, they asked in the locker room, they asked Harris Barton a few questions.
Something must have happened that spurred that on. I'm sure it wasn't just him missing a kick.
I know. Yeah, he literally told them, like, he just totally threw Doug Bryan under the bus, and I believe the next week they cut him or something like that. And Doug Bryan, I watched him play at Cal too, so I thought it was kind of cool that a Bay Area kid, and they played for De La Salle, which was a big time high school Bay Area powerhouse and a national powerhouse at that. So just thought it was cool that a Bay Area
Montana's
kid.
sons go to De La Salle?
He had one son that played at De La Salle, but could never get the starting quarterback position on the varsity team. And Montana was trying to force the coach's hand, and the coach didn't like that. Montana took his son to play high school football with Will Smith's son, I believe, or something like that, some high school in LA or something. Yeah. So, and his son played college ball and bounced around the two teams. He wasn't really that great. I know the 49ers gave him a tryout too at the same time, and he just wasn't really that good. I mean, just what it is,
Some of these silver spoon kids, man, they just don't have the same drive as someone who, grew up in like a steel town like Montana did. So one thing too, didn't you say that Joe Montana like doesn't want people bothering him when he was sitting at high school football games? I remember you telling me that, like,
oh, so it was one of the guys, yeah, the guy who comes in the chat, Joey Mahoney. Well, he was at Antioch High School where Jeremy Newberry went, and they played De La Salle, and Joe Montana was sitting in the crowd. I believe it may have been for a basketball game, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been for a football game, but either or, there was some guy that was saying like, "Hey guys, you guys got to leave Joe Montana alone. You can't talk to him." And the guy talked to him for a second, said, "Hey, is it cool if I get a picture or autograph or something?" And he goes, "Yeah," after the game, and then right away Joe Montana just got up and left. So he didn't fulfill his promise, so to speak.
Jeez.
But as far as things on my channel, I'm going to be hosting the Bring the Heat podcast on Tuesday. It's a rotational type podcast that we do with me and Ryan from No Border Sports. We got Mariah from 49 Faithful League podcast. Hopefully she'll be able to make it. She wasn't able to make it these past 2 weeks. She had something going on. So hopefully we can see her come back. That'd be great. That'd be awesome if she does. Then again, on Fridays, I got the doubleheader going with TED Talks Ball 3 p.m. and then with Raj at 7 p.m. I do a lot of post game shows too. So most likely there should be a post game show tomorrow.
Yeah.
It might be immediately after the game. It could be a few hours afterwards. So usually I post it on my Twitter and on my Facebook page and even on my community tab, whether or not what time I'm going live, and we'll just set it up from there.
Yeah, the channel with this week, I think I'm on Niners Coast to Coast. I forgot who has it this week. And then, of course, me and Ted and me and Raj, a lot of couple multi streams. I'm trying to build the channel back up to where I have less and less multi streams because the algorithm, as you guys know on YouTube, if you multi stream, it just confuses it. So
yeah, that's why we do the alternate thing on the Bring the Heat podcast. Yeah. We do it on each and everybody's channel, so we don't have it on everybody's channel all at once.
David McNiner, me and Brian Culp, Ty Alston, and myself, like we alternate. This 4 channels with the same stream thing is just, it's stupid. If you have a big channel and you're streaming with somebody with a small channel, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's good cross pollination." No, it's not. It's not at all. It's
when you said 4 channels, it almost sounded like 4chan
or 4chan. Whatever. Chatterbait, whatever websites you guys like going to. Everyone Everyone's like, "What?
You
Porn
went
websites?"
way off the deep end on that one.
Yeah. Well, because you know that
Well, my
there's
bad. I brought up
weirdos and
4chan. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
weird site
whatever.
in
So
itself.
everybody have a great rest of your Saturday. If you're on the West Coast, it's only like 7:10. For me, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm probably gonna go play a little Madden or something. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Hopefully the Niners win. I might be on with Bash tomorrow on his post game if I'm not in too
No.
much of a pissy mood.
We'll see. Hopefully
uh,
we win. And again, I'd have to let you know what time I'm gonna do one. Usually we do it on the fly when it comes to post games, you know.
yeah, yeah. Post games, it's better to just not plan them and just kind of go in raw dog a little bit. Raw dog. Pause. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. We're
See
gonna
ya.
try her again for next week, hopefully. So everybody be on the lookout. Maybe we'll even get a name for the show. I don't know, and an overlay, something like that. I
Mm.
don't know. Stay tuned, everyone. Have a great
See
time,
ya.
rest of your day.